A very good morning to you. Hope you're well. So, welcome to the next video. I'm going to start again at Scratby today, where I finished off, and hopefully walk up to Horsey Gap or Horsey. But I'll show you where I am in just a second. So I'm walking down the slope now. Takes you up there, but if you did want to go up there, there is public toilets up there, which is handy to know, but there's actually no need to go up that part because, like I say, further down the road's gone, but I'll explain more in a minute. But look at this view. Lovely, look at that. It is early doors. Morning. Been for an early morning dip?
Not a dip, just a feed.
Paddle?
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, so this is the slope, and this is the sign here. I'll try and get it on the thing. You won't be able to read it because it's small writing, but I did read it. It says it on there, on that little white sign beneath the sign. It says, basically explains that part of the path isn't accessible now because of the road gone, so you need to walk along the beach. So I ain't got a problem with that, but just sort of letting you know, because it does show it going up there, and it is nice up there. You get a lovely view, and then it shows it walking along a road called the Promenade, and that goes into another road. I forget the name of that, begins with an E. And then that leads up to the Marams, but I did walk up there yesterday, and it's gated off. So as you get to the Marams part, there's a gate across the path. You can't go no further, so you kind of forced back anyway, and then you'd have to walk down the bank further up here. So you could still do that little part of the road, and then come back down the bank up here, back to the beach. But I don't personally think that's worth doing, because you're going up and then down, not further up. So not that much further up, you've got to come back down again. So I'm just going to stay on the beach level. But this bit here, what I'm walking on, will go right next to the Marams, as you'll see in a little while when we get up there. And yeah, it's a shame what's happened there. Locals, obviously, you all know about it, but even if you're not locals, you may have seen it on the news. It was a big story, and it has been a big story over the last, I don't know, 10, 20 years, because when we first moved up here, I used to go for walks along Hemsby and the Marams, because we actually had a caravan up here at one point, and used to go for walks there. But and it was nice. I used to walk along there. It was a little road, and there were sort of houses either side. Then what started happening is houses on the one side of the road started to go. Some fell into the sea in a big storm one year. I think it was like 2018, 19. And then that had demolished some of the others on the right. Then it's just been whenever they seem to get a big storm, it seems to have an impact up here. So they've been taking down houses for a while, but now it got to a point where, was it last year or the year before, part of the roadway actually went. So that was it. Once that happened, they had to shut that section off. And there you go. What a lovely morning. And it is early. I deliberately came out early today because it says on the weather it's going to be exceptionally hot today. So I thought I'd get out early. So it's actually about 6:30 in the morning at the moment. Yep, so there's a plan to walk from here to Horsey. So that'd be a combination of sort of beach and walking across dunes today. Our waves sound lovely. There's a couple of people about that have got the same idea as me, get out nice and early. I suppose they've seen the weather as well. Don't want to be doing too much walking later as it gets to sort of late morning, midday and onwards. It says it's going to be about 33 at least, I think. That's too hot for me to walk in, I don't like that. So I thought I'd come out early. I know it's a bit of hassle getting up early, coming out for a walk, but once you're up, I think it's lovely. Oh well, that little path's come to a bit of an end there, so we're sort of forced this way, are we? That's too overgrown there. So we could just walk along. Yeah, let's walk along the beach anyway. We're right next to the cliffs all the way, so walk along this bit, or could go right to the sea. Let's go right to the edge. Live life on the edge. So yeah, the path goes along there. This is right next to it, so I'm going to walk along here. It looks really nice. So yeah, where we're heading today, Horsey, that is known for its wildlife. A lot of bird watching goes on there, and also it's known for the seals. Horsey is known for the seals, and lots of people go there to observe the seals. But I think I've mentioned in another video, they've got warning signs up. Of course you can walk on the beach, but it does say give them a lot of room. Don't get too close to the seals, especially I think when they're when they've had their pups and stuff. Don't get nowhere near them, but you can still see them standing back, and it's lovely. I've been there quite a few times, and I used to have a sort of a long lens camera, and I went down there and took some pictures one time or a couple of times, and I zoomed right in, and it's great. So you can I was back on the cliff tops like over there, and they was sort of on the beach here, and I got some lovely footage because it did video footage as well as photos. Lovely. So I'll explain a little bit in a little while, and I'm kind of hoping that we can do it, but the only thing doing the part of the walk that we're doing right here, because of the Marams, because the road at the Marams is closed off, the only trouble with walking along the beach is you're fine to do that most of the time, but just check, as I said in that last video, just check the times of the tides, because if the tide's right in on a high tide, I don't think it's possible to do this little walk around this little bend up here where we're going to. If the tide's all the way in and it's a high tide, it goes right up to the cliff, so you wouldn't be able to do that. So if you are, I mean it's just this section, but if you are going to do this section on the beach, because you can't walk much further than over there, if you're going to do this section, check the times of the tides, because if it's high tide, I think you'll struggle to walk around that bend up there with remaining with dry feet. Also, it'd be too dangerous. I wouldn't recommend doing that at all. So yeah, if the tide's in, I wouldn't recommend walking around there. Definitely not. Just wait till the tide's out a bit. So that's the only thing to keep in mind if you're doing this bit of the beach walk for the Norfolk coast path. A couple of people up there look like they're setting up their chairs already, are they? They are. Early doors. Why not? So I've brought one drink with me. That's probably not going to be enough because I've already drunk about half of it. I will need to get more, but that's another thing to factor in if you're going out really early. Not many shops are open that early, so I don't know. Again, should I have brought a backpack with me with a couple of drinks? Probably yes, but that would have been very hot having a backpack on today, because it is hot already. You can tell it's going to be a hot day, even though it's early. There's not, I mean, the good thing is there's not much breeze for the camera, but you can just feel it's really humid already. Morning. I'm hoping we can walk around. I did check the times of the tides. It said, see, I've had to take my own advice. It did say high tide this morning at Hemsby is 8:15. So it's about 20 to 7, so I'm hoping I can get round. If not, what an error I would have made. So this tide is coming in at the minute. But I'm hoping to get past where I want to get past before it comes in too much. Yeah, so if we was walking the bit where it shows it on the paper map, it's only up there. It's literally up that little ridge, cliff top, and that's where the road runs along. So you are walking right next to it by doing it this way. Yeah, I know you're coming in, I know. I know I said you get seals at Horsey, but you also get them all the way along here. The further you go north, you seem to see more. So you'll see, or I have seen, quite many at Winterton. You also see them, you do see them here as well. You see them swimming, like popping their heads up, also on the beach sometimes. But more, I notice you get more the further north you go towards Horsey. Yeah, so if you see, look, it's just, you can imagine when they do get a big storm and the tide's in at high tide, I mean look, the tide's already to there and it's not even high tide yet, so even on a normal high tide the water seems to go up to the bottom of the cliff. But if it's a storm, they've had a bad storm, then you can imagine the waves sort of crashing into that, and all of that is sand, so obviously it wears it away, and then that's where a lot of these houses were coming up. It was right on this. I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see an old aerial photograph of the area. There must be some about, because it'd be interesting to see before and after sort of thing, so what it was like 10-20 years ago and what it's like now, because there would have been a lot more houses dotted about along here, but obviously some of them actually fell into the sea in that big storm. I think it was 2018, but the ones that were sort of teetering on the edge, they had to knock them down, demolish them before they did fall into the sea. And obviously what they continue to do, they monitor the situation, so I guess every now and again they send people around to survey it and see how much it's eroding, and they put warnings in place. So that is basically one of the reasons why we can't do that top bit of the walk now, because, well, you just couldn't do it. It's not that a few houses have fell into the sea, which is terrible, but the actual road's gone in a lot of places, so you couldn't do the walk anyway. But look how much it slopes back. I haven't actually walked along this bit for quite a while. Look at that, there's like a big bit of concrete up there. I don't know if you can see that. That's like a concrete base, but the sort of concrete that you'd probably see as a foundation of a house or something. So just shows you where the houses were. I mean, look, there's one there, that's quite close, if you can see it. So they've got these sort of sea defences in now, like these big rock things, boulders or whatever. I guess they do what they're doing, but for some of them houses it didn't help. Or maybe it did help, maybe it delayed it a bit, I don't know, but yeah. But yeah, like I say, you may have seen it on the news. It was all over, obviously all over the Anglia news, but I think it actually made the national news. They had helicopters up here and everything, sort of flying around. When I was here, I came up here, and yeah, there was helicopters, news crews, loads of people around. But you know, I guess a lot of people were caught up in the moment, looking at it and fascinated, but you've got to spare a thought for the people that actually lost their homes here. I mean, some of the people have been here for years. Like, you see them get interviewed on the news, some of them, and they explain to you that all their possessions, and you know, they were stranded really. They had to go and live somewhere else, some of them, and it makes you think, all them years, like if you've been in the property for years and years with an absolute beautiful view like that. I mean, look at the view they had. Some people have still got it, the ones that are there, but a lot of them, the ones that have gone, would have been thinking, yeah, they've got to move to somewhere else, but they're also, you know, they would have fond memories, I would have thought, of waking up or any time just looking out their window and looking over that. So to be told, right, you're no longer going to be living here. You've got to go somewhere else, and you're not going to have a view like that. You know, you can imagine that really impacting some people. That'd impact me, you know. If I was somewhere for years and really loved living there, to suddenly lose your house, that would be, you know, terrible really. But yeah, if you walk along here, you may be able to see it on the video, but you can sort of see bits of fencing and all sorts sliding down the cliff. So it's an ongoing thing, this erosion. It's just, and I guess if you're one of the people that still lives here, I guess every time you hear of a big storm on the way, it must put you in sort of a state of alert or panic, maybe, because you're thinking, oh no, here we go again. But yeah, see that up there, see a load of brickwork and stuff. Don't know what that was, but maybe that was a house or part of the foundation. But this is the Marams now that I was talking about. This is the bit you wouldn't be able to walk along. So if we did walk up that first bit that you can walk along, by now we'd have already had to come back down to the beach, because you can't walk along that bit there. There's a gate right across the path, as I found out last night. So yeah, when you hear about Hemsby, trouble at Hemsby with the cliffs, erosion, or the Marams, when you hear about that, that is exactly where we are. That's what you're looking at now. All along here. There's other places up and down Norfolk coast and I think Suffolk coast as well, which are suffering from like cliff erosion. But this is one of the main ones that gets mentioned. Also, another place we'll be walking past, which is very interesting because it's got a lovely lighthouse. A place called Haysborough, or it's actually spelt Happisburgh, but the locals call it Haysborough, so I'm going to call it Haysborough. But yeah, that's another place that gets mentioned a lot with cliff erosion, and it is bad, because I've been there as well. I went there to look at the lighthouse. Beautiful lighthouse. It's the famous red and white one. Again, it's been featured on many photographs, and I've seen it on also. I've even seen it on TV. But that town or village, that's affected with coastal erosion. And when you walk on the beach, it's got the cliff there is actually higher than it is here. It goes quite high. And a lot of that has fallen away, and there's actually a car park where I usually park right next to the beach, but there's a sign up saying, I think I read the sign saying something like, if the cliffs continue to erode at whatever rate, it says at some point they're going to have to close that car park, because the entrance road in and out of it is quite close to where the cliffs are sort of eroding in. So if it falls much further, I heard they was going to try and relocate the car park to somewhere else. That's what I read on a sign there. Don't quote me, but I can remember reading that, and I think that was at Haysborough. So just shows you. So when we go there, hopefully if I can get, I don't know where the path goes at Haysborough, but if it goes right next to the beach, we'll see the cliffs there as well. But maybe it goes through the village, I don't know. That should be in about 2 or 3 videos time, I'm thinking, because like I say, I'm doing this in sections. First one was Hopton to the Heron Bridge. Not Heron, Herring. I said Heron. I keep saying Heron Bridge. It's actually Herring. Herring. Because that is what Yarmouth used to be known for, or still is known for. the fishing industry, but mainly herring, the herring fishing industry. So yeah, it's called the Herring Bridge. So that was the first section. The second section went from the Herring Bridge to Scratby, where we just started this morning. So yeah, this section will hopefully run from Scratby to Horsey. I did have a quick look last night at where I want to try and be. The one after that, I think I looked at it, I'm hoping I can do Horsey to Sea Pooling. I think I can do that. And the one after that may be Sea Pooling to Haysborough, but I don't know. That might be a bit far, because I think I can't remember now. But yeah, it'll be 2 or 3 videos time hopefully anyway when we get to Haysborough. So we've got to walk up here in a minute where that guy's coming down the slope. Don't know if you can see it. We don't walk further down on the beach. The actual path takes us around the, I think it's the lifeboat thing here on the corner. We've got to go around the back of that. That's where we pick up the coast path again. And then it takes you, walk straight up that way on the cliff top bit, through the car park, and then you sort of go into the dunes a bit. But yeah, that is and was the Marams at Hemsby. Oh, it's that hard sand to walk on again. Well, the sand ain't hard, it's soft, but it makes it walking hard. Nearly half hour's filming already. Looking for treasure. This is hard walking up here. Plenty of sand in the trainers again. Yeah, so it is the Hemsby lifeboat. One last little look that way. Right, so the path is only just here, just past the beach cafe. So I think if you needed to, there is toilets here you could use. We're going up here, this way. So this is it, this is the Norfolk coast path again. That is That's sort of where all the mutant arcades are, along there, up this bit. But we're not going up there, we're going round here. This is the bit where I was saying is the car park, so it's called June's car park. Not June as in June, alright June. June's as in D-U-N-E-S. June, I got you a nice cup of tea, darling. Yeah, so obviously later in the day this is quite busy, this car park, I would have thought, especially this time of year. But I'm through here early doors. What does it say about the birds that get up early, and in regards to or relation to worms? There's something between birds and worms early in the morning. Yeah, so there you go. I will have to at some point, I would have thought, plug this camera in again like I did yesterday, but I've got the charger pack again, don't worry, and it is charged, well not all the way, but it's charged enough. So because I've got a feeling this walk may be another at least a 2-hour video. The one yesterday was about 2.25 hours. This one may be similar. As I say, it's a bit of effort getting up that sort of time, but you do sort of reap the benefits. Later in the day there's people around, noise, you know, fine, if you like all that. I like my peace and quiet a lot of the time, so this is lush to me. Like I say, with a lot of my videos I like to get out early, or early-ish, because before the crowds, sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes the places I go to, time I get there, it's already late, or late-ish. And places like London, I usually have to film there in the middle of the day when I go there. But as a rule, I try and get out early if I can. Here we go, look for the acorn. Remember what I said? If in doubt, look for the acorn. So we are on the correct path. That's where we just come from. That's where we're going. Shut the old gate. Right. Lush. On the path again. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, 34, nearly 35 minutes already. I can already see that battery going down. Lovely, look at that view. Again, you may be able to hear that water swishing about again in my bottle in my pocket, but if I drink it too early, I have nothing to drink further up. There is a little cafe thing at Winterton, but again I'm thinking it's going to be too early time I get there. If it's open, brilliant, because I'll stop the filming if it's open, have a cup of coffee or tea, get another bottle of water as well, and have 10 minutes, 20 minutes and then carry on the walk. But I think it's going to be too early for it to be open. But I'm hoping, because it is peak season, maybe they might be open early. I don't know. So we're still running next to the sea, but it's over them that hill there, dunes. June? So yeah, I was thinking again last night about this journey, and the last section of it, I'll be honest with you, I'm in two minds whether to do it or not. And what I'm talking about, the last section is, I'm talking the bit from Hunstanton to Sutton Bridge, because that is not actually part of the official Norfolk Coast Path, that last bit. Yeah, what we got here? Let's look at the sign. Norfolk Coast Path. Scratby showing 1¼ miles that way. We're going this way. Winterton, it's showing 1½ miles this way. So 1½ miles to Winterton. Yeah. Stick on the path. So yeah, as I was saying, although that last part of the path still comes under the, I think it comes under the King Charles III England pathway, it's not part of the original Norfolk Coast Path. So the original Norfolk Coast Path runs from Hopton-on-Sea to Hunstanton, as it said on that sign. So if you watch my first video, that sign that you see straight away said 37 miles, I think it was, to Cromer, and it also said, it mentioned Hunstanton, 84 miles to Hunstanton. So that is what the original path was and remains, really. That's the part of the path that's still called the Norfolk Coast Path. Further than that, it goes into the, what I think is part of the new King Charles III path, but I might just stick purely to the Norfolk Coast Path, the original, and then just walk from Hopton to Hunstanton. Couple of reasons. One, it looks a bit confusing past sort of King's Lynn way. I don't know, just looks, because you've got to go over a couple of rivers, which would mean walking round them, by what I could see. And two, like I say, it's not actually part of the Norfolk Coast Path. So the name of these videos is that, and maybe I'll just stop the filming at the Hunstanton, because that would make the most sense. And that part around the Norfolk coast, northwest Norfolk coast, the part of that which is called the Norfolk Coast Path, it's also called Pedlar's Way. So Pedlar's Way, I don't know where that starts, but so it's called Pedlar's Way because that's what the map I've got says, Pedlar's Way and the Norfolk Coast Path, and it's got the entire map of the Norfolk Coast Path, but it only shows it up into Hunstanton, from Hopton to Hunstanton. So I think, I just see a rabbit over there, I think it'd be better if I just done what it says on the map, stick to that, so that way there's no confusion, and it is just the 84 miles. I think the other bit of it would have ended up being 112 miles overall, but I think I'll just stick to the Hunstanton, finish it there, then I can say I've walked the entire Norfolk Coast Path. Because if you mention to people, especially on the video titles, Norfolk Coast Path, and they start watching the videos, if they start watching the videos of places past Hunstanton, some people may be thinking, well, this isn't actually known as the Norfolk Coast Path. So yeah, I like to do, I like to stick to what it should be, really. I know I said I'm doing the path the wrong way round. It actually shows it starting at Hunstanton and finishing at Hopton. I'm doing it the other way around because I live closer to Hopton, starting at Hopton, finishing at Hunstanton. I think that's the best thing to do, and yeah, makes the most sense really. So there is little pathways that lead you up to that ridge, but ain't very steep. But this is actually the bit where it says the path, so I'm sticking on the path. There's some nice sort of roundhouses coming up in a little while, because you've got the lighthouse at Winterton, and next to that pretty much you've got these roundhouses which are all painted different colours, and they look really nice. Coming up in a little while. So yeah, sorry guys if I'm chopping and changing it a little bit. But like I say, when I thought I want to do this walk, I didn't think too deeply into it. I just said straight away, right, that's it. I'm walking from Suffolk to the Lincolnshire border. But straight away that's not the case, because even though Hopton-on-Sea is close, it's very close to the Suffolk border, it's still classed as Norfolk. So I wouldn't be walking from Suffolk to Lincolnshire anyway. I'd have still started in Norfolk. So no, I think I'll just stick to what it says on the posts. Hopton-on-Sea to Hunstanton, and that overall is 84 miles. That'd do me. So yeah. Still a lot of walking and a lot of miles. So calm today compared to the last 2 days. Well, that first day when I started, that wind was strong northerly wind blowing right into us the whole way, quite annoying actually. The next day, or the next time I did the filming, was southeasterly blowing. That was still quite strong at times, but this morning very calm. Very calm indeed. So calm that you can hear the water swishing around in the bottle in my pocket, which is probably annoying you. It's annoying me. So I wonder if that little cafe place will be open. I don't want to get my hopes up, because it'll be a case of when I get there, possibly. But it'll just be, what I'll do is I'll keep in mind that it's probably shut. Then if it's open, lovely surprise. So this is a lovely walk really, this bit. So if you was sort of, there's a lot of holiday parks and stuff at Hemsby, so if you were sort of staying at Hemsby on holiday and you like your walking, this is a brilliant little walk you could do. You could probably walk to Winterton and back. It's only about, well, there and back would be probably just under 3 miles, maybe a bit, 2.5 miles maybe. So not too far, but this is the sort of walk you'd be doing. What a lovely view, a beautiful view. Yeah, I thought of some more words that Norfolk people say as well. Obviously they like, well, when I say Norfolk people, not all Norfolk people, but a lot of the older generation that have been brought up here, a lot of them say things like voo instead of view, roof instead of roof. They say A lot of them say, like when you say toast, like, yeah, I'll have 2 slices of toast, please. They say toast. I'll have a couple of slices of toast. Toast. Also, another one, they'll say something like, with computers, if you, obviously, I'd say computer. Some of the older ones, not all of them, some of them say computer. Put the computer on. There's loads of little words. It's I find it funny, and I'm not taking the mick. I just like it, and obviously, you can't complain about that sort of thing. Not that I would, but I think it's funny and I like it. But got to think, we as Londoners, if you move up to somewhere like Norfolk, you're moving into their territory. You're moving into a place that have been like this for generations and generations. So to move somewhere and to take the mick is a bit silly, really, because, you know, it could be a case of, well, if you don't like it, go back to Essex or London or whatever, which some people do. I have heard of that. Some people move up here and they can't get on with it and they move back down south. But I personally I can't see how you wouldn't like it. Maybe it's a bit too quiet. Some people don't like things too quiet. If you're someone that's been a city dweller, successful fella, all your life, what way should I go? Down the middle or along here? Along this bit. Yeah, if you're someone that's lived in the city all your life, you're used to the hustle and bustle. Some people probably think, I'm glad to get away from it. Other people, when they do get away from it, maybe they think, no, this is a bit too quiet for me. I don't know, but yeah, I've heard of that. Mostly though, most people that come up here stay living up here. That's what I've heard. But I have also heard there are some that say, nah, too quiet or whatever, moving back. And I don't think they move back because of people's accents. They move back because it's too quiet, maybe, I don't know. But me personally, yeah, even though I'm from London, look at that, I'm tempted to walk over this bit. You're spoilt for choice here, spoilt for choice. No, I'll stick on this. But yeah, even though I'm from London and yeah, I miss some things about London because I like history and things like that, so you can't really beat London for history, interesting history anyway, so what I find interesting. So I love walking around central London. So when I say London, London's a massive place, and you go, there's loads of suburbs and stuff, but when I think of London, see, I should have probably, see, it's a bit overgrown now, I'm going to possibly go to the middle. Either way, it don't matter, because as long as we're close to that bridge, this is still part of the path. You probably could walk that way, but I'm going to stick to the middle here. But yeah, when I think of London and the things I miss about it, I always think of central London, like right in the centre. Go up here. So obviously, yeah, you got the tourist spots and that, but I just like generally walking around central London. I've always done like that. So yeah, that's the sort of bit I miss. But you can go back for like visits, which I have done. So when I've done some of them London videos, I'll get the train down, spend the day there, or I have done it before, where I go down there and just sort of stay there, book a night in a hotel, and then get a couple of days there. So yeah, I love that. I still love walking around. There's something special, in my opinion, about walking about in central London. I know some people say it's really changed, it's not what it was. And yeah, some bits of it, I suppose it is not what it was, but the historical side, all the old churches, the old buildings, the history behind them, the plaques on the wall. I like all the blue plaques with the information of people who lived there years ago, all that sort of stuff. That ain't changed, and that's still there, so I love all that. But yeah, that's the bit of London I miss. Other than that, no, I prefer it up here. Morning, mate. Right. See a few dog walkers about now. I guess it's a good idea as well. Hot day today. If you're going to get the dogs out, obviously if they want to go out for a walk, get them out early. But it is warm already, really is warm. Toast. I could do with some toast actually. I'll have 2 of buttered toast, not toast, toast. Cheers, mate. And a cup of tea. I don't think we're going to be that far from that cafe in a minute. As we go past this lady that's walking the dogs, I'll show the camera to the left, and that is where the lighthouse is, and I think that's where them roundhouses are near there anyway. I can't remember exactly. I haven't walked here for a while. Morning.
Bodie with me.
Bodie and Doyle. Classic. The professionals. See, I'm someone that likes, like I just said, I like my history. I also like tradition. So, with regards to TV shows, etc., I like the older shows rather than the new ones. I like professionals. I really like Minder, Old Arthur Daly, Terry McCann. That's some of my favourite shows. Only Fools and Horses, all them old classics. That's my sort of telly that I like watching. Like I say, personal choice, but I don't like most of the modern stuff. Nah, not for me. I will have a drop of that water actually. Stand still a minute. You can look at the old nice. Is that what do they call that, heather? I bet it's a heather, isn't it? Let's have a look. Heifer. Heifer, heifer again. Yeah, it's good for wildlife, Winterton, really is. There's quite a few plaques about as well, so if I see any I'll try and show you. But there's a frog, there's a certain frog name, I forget the name of it. I've never seen one. Is it a natterjack frog or something like that? Probably wrong. But if I see the sign, we'll have a look, because I've been over here a few times, and I've looked for them before. I've never seen one. It does say they're about. Here's the lighthouse up there, and the roundhouses are over there. Let's stick to this bit of the path. Quick look at the old battery. Yeah, we're doing alright at the minute. And what's the time? 55 minutes. Really does fly. Nice to know that if the tide's out, you can walk from Scratby to Winterton in an hour if you wanted to, because that's basically what it's took us. I know we're at 55 minutes, but we're not quite there yet, but it's only up there. So yeah, an hour to Winterton, walking at a sort of normal pace, I guess. Like I say, I don't think I'll walk fast. Maybe you disagree with that, and you're very welcome to. But I don't think I'll walk that fast. But I've always liked walking, like not just up here, although there's lovely places to walk up here, and that's sort of inspired me to do these videos, put them on YouTube and that. But I used to like walking even when I lived in London. What I liked about, I like walking around the streets in central London, love it. But I also like walking around the royal parks in London. My favourite is Hyde Park. That is my favourite park. It's massive. There's something special about Hyde Park. I just really like it. But also, you've got the other ones right in the centre, of course. You've got St James's Park, Green Park, but it's quite a bit smaller. Regent's Park is also really nice. I do like that. But I don't tend to go there as often because I don't know, I just don't tend to go there, but I have been there and I do like it. But my park of choice, if I go to London, is Hyde Park. I love that, really do. It's sort of, because as you're walking on you can walk obviously through the middle or round the edge. I think round the edges it's called, like, the roads have got a certain name, like South Carriage Drive and all that sort of stuff. But as you're walking along the road there, yeah, you're in the park, but you're also looking at the houses and the buildings on the left as well, south of you. And that's where there's a lot of lovely old buildings, and you've got sort of Exhibition Road down that way. That's where some of the museums are. I just love it. I love it all around that way. There's something special about it to me. I know you get them, I guess everyone's got it. When you go somewhere you get a special feeling. Maybe it's fond memories of years ago, but I get that when I get to central London. There's something special, because I remember when I was really little, not just, obviously I wouldn't have been able to go up the West End on my own when I was really little, but I remember school trips. My old school, we used to go to places like the Science Museum and the Natural History Museum, all that sort of stuff. And that was years ago. And it felt special even then, even though I lived in London. It just felt, so yeah, I just love all that. But yeah, so I do like walking in London. I'd walk for hours. I mean, I've done videos there of like 2 hours long, but I walk for longer than that. From when I get there off the train, I usually get to Liverpool Street, come out the station there, and you can get on the Central Line and go towards the West End, but a lot of the time I just walk there. I get off at Liverpool Street and I walk to the West End, like to Hyde Park and all round Mayfair, all round there. And so by the time I get to these places to start filming, I've already walked miles, but I love it. And the good thing is, it's you've got shops and restaurants all around you, so if you're hungry, thirsty, it's right there. I think we're pretty much, yes, it is them roundhouses, the back of them there. Are we at Winterton yet? We're on the hour, aren't we? We're very close anyway to the road, because you've got the road that comes up to the car park, and that is where that little cafe thing is. You've got more toilets there as well, for a little bit of info for the video. Yeah, so if you get to this bit and you feel like you need to use the toilet, it's just up here in a minute. So certain bits you sort of forced round onto the path here, because I noticed that even though there's no chain link fencing across it. There's posts up there, so I'm taking it that they mean stay out of that area, so I'm sticking to the path. Lovely blue sky, look at that. What a morning. Mind you, yeah, it is lovely, but I wouldn't want to be out 2 or 3 hours time. I wouldn't want to be doing this walk then, not today. It's a scorcher. Tea and toast. Be nice. Are we there yet? There we are. Looking for the road. And it's here. So where we're going to walk next is basically loads more dunes, called the Winterton Dunes. That's over them hills. But it shows the path going up here, and that's where the toilets are, and the car park's up there as well, up that away. Doing some work by the looks of it. Morning, mate. But we will go, yeah, so if you want to use the toilet, that's up that way. That's where the cafe is, and I'll be able to see from the bit I'm going to walk in a minute. I'll be able to see if that's open. If it is, I'll be going over to it. Down there, straight ahead, that is Winterton Village, right there. They've got a lovely church there as well if you ain't ever been to Winterton. So I'm going to walk this path here, get on the path. Welcome to Winterton's and Horsey Dunes. Yeah, that's it, natterjack toads. Oh, it's not a frog, it's a toad. That's what I was looking for. Season 1st of April to 30th of September. I've never seen one, but they're about apparently. Right, let's go. Yeah, a lot of dune walking today. You will see the sea again. I'll go up to the ridge, but mainly it's going to be dunes today. I enjoy it. So yeah, on the actual map it shows the Norfolk coast path sort of going up to them toilets where I just was. Shows you doing a right there, heading to the toilets and then left. But it doesn't matter that much because it's only there. So what I've done is just cross the road and come onto this path. But they all sort of crisscross about these paths, so as long as you see yourself, I mean if you end up drifting off too far to the left, you can always just look for a path to the right, head back to the ridge where the sea is, and head that way, head north, and you'll be heading to Horsey. So I'm going to walk up here now. I want to see if that cafe's open, or stall, whatever it is, burger bar. It's not a burger bar, it's like a, well, we'll see. Little bit of a breeze there, quite nice. I usually moan about the wind. Yeah, it shows the path walking next to them sheds over there. So we'll do that, we'll walk to it. can see the sea. Nah, that calf don't look like it's open. Too early. Early doors. That's alright. I've got a drain of water left. So this is the car park here. If you was to drive to Winterton, you can go up that road where I just was, keep heading to the sea, and just at the end of that road to the left, that's where the car park is, right opposite where the toilets are. And usually if you get here at a reasonable hour, obviously you can do your nice walk or go on the beach, but you can also go to this place here and get a cup of tea and all that, ice creams, all sorts. But that's what I was planning to do, but it's far too early, unfortunately. But that's where the little cafe thing is there. Norfolk Coast Path goes this way, so that's where we're going. Let's have another look at the sea. So yeah, the dunes are it's a very wide area. So you could, if you wanted, crisscross yourself about across the dunes. The main path does show it close to the cliff top here, but you could, well, you'll see it at some point. I mean, I'll try and stick to what it says, but I may deviate a little bit because I know where I'm going on this bit anyway, as long as we stick close to the coast. But I do like the dunes, I really do like them. But this is the official Norfolk Coast Path, what we're on at the minute. Let's have a little look over here. La 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 la. Get the lid on my bottle. Sit down. Yeah, so that is, well, I was setting myself up for the cafe not being open anyway, and it weren't. So there you go. But there is a cafe or a little tea bar thing where I'm going at Horsey, so silver linings and all that, but that is quite a walk from here. Horsey is quite a walk from here actually. I'm thinking it's pretty much another hour from here. Nice walk, but so I'm gonna have to go another hour without a drink really. That's alright. And then a cup of tea as a reward at the end of the walk. Let's have a quick look at the battery. The battery, yeah, it's doing alright in a minute. About another 10-15 minutes, so I'm going to have to plug that in. I'm quite enjoying this Norfolk Coast Path walk so far. 3 videos in and I'm enjoying it. But that is, could that be slightly because I know this part of the walk? Maybe, I don't know. Like I say, the part where we're walking to today, I've done all that before. Beyond that though, no, I ain't walked the path. See, like it's showing it there or here. I mean, I'm walking here, it's not really a problem. But yeah, past Horsey, I have walked little bits, like gone to areas like Sheringham before, done tiny little bits from where I've parked, but I ain't never walked from one place to another along the path further than Horsey. So the path after Horsey is going to be a new experience for me. But I'll say, am I enjoying this bit because I know it? It may be a case of I end up enjoying the other bits more because I ain't done them before. So it could be a case of that. I'm in a wide open space. Lovely, look at that. What a view it is. A lovely view. Yeah, there's more signs coming up I can see. So that's what that's called, a natterjack toad. Yeah, I did look for one before, I've never seen one. So if you wanted to go back to the beach, that's up here. That'll lead you straight to the beach. But we're not going there. We're sticking to the acorn path. Marvellous. Right, it's showing the path going up here. Looks like we're going to get a nice view from up here as well. I'm going to have to plug in a minute. Look at that lovely view. There's the church in the background. See what I mean by it's quite wide, so you could walk in them paths down there. It don't show it as the official Norfolk Coast path, but you could do it and you're still heading towards Horsey. Horsey's up that way. But I'll try and stick to the old path. I think what I'll do is I'll plug the phone in, camera in. Right, there's a little pile of fence in here. I'll show you that for the reason of I'm going to stop filming and start again here to show you that I've started again from the exact spot. So yeah, time to plug the camera in again. So I'm going to just leave you for a second, plug the camera in, then start filming again from this exact spot. See you in a bit. Right, I'm back, as I said I would be. Hang on a second, I can see a little bit of thingy on the screen, that's it. Yeah, so I'm back, and I'm in the same spot I was, and we're charging up, so let's just show you. Yep, right where we was, on that little pile of fence in there. Still the same lovely view. And we shall carry on our walk because we're charging up, we're rocking and rolling, we're cooking on gas. Let's go. Heading to Horsey. Wonder if we'll see some seals. Well, I would have thought we would. So that could be nice on the video, seeing the seals. For some reason my socks feel damp, because I think what it is, I can see one of them acorn signs. Look, if in doubt, look for the acorn sign. What it is, because I went out so early today, the grass gets the morning dew on it, so they got a bit wet, then the old sand sticks to it. So I've not only got sand in my shoes, I've got socks are wet. But there you go. That's another thing to consider if you're going out early. The grass is very dewy, especially this time of year, morning dew on it. But again, if you're a proper walker that loves all this and does it regular, I'm sure you'll have all the proper equipment. I haven't really. I just go out, even though I like walking. I usually walk pavements and things like that, so I'm not used to trails like this. So if I'm to get into this more, then I'm going to have to get the proper clothing and footwear. I guess you can get some sort of like waterproof stuff, especially if you're going out early. And of course, certain times of the year you'll need waterproofs and all sorts, I guess. So I could be one of them people that goes in the old hiking shops or camping shops and end up buying loads of equipment. Lovely, look at that. I've seen a couple of people on this walk, but not many. Hardly any on this bit. Yeah, so the new plan is the final video should hopefully end at Hunstanton of this series. So that's this walk anyway. I may be interested in doing others after this. I don't want to say that just yet, because this one's only really just begun, really, isn't it? 3 videos in. But if I can do that 84 miles, that's good. Maybe I can start looking at other trails to other places. That's the thing, Norfolk has got some lovely trails from what I've been looking into. And they go for miles and miles, some of them. Maybe I'll do that, look at some other ones. A couple of other people over there, or one other people. Yeah, 2 people over there. Enjoying the sights. No, actually, it looks like 2 people. It's one. He's got a massive backpack on his back and something in front. Whew. No, it is 2 people. Have a little look out over there. Yes, a fair old walk from Winterton to Horsey, really. I'd say an hour, could be wrong. Little acorns. Ah, it's over here. See the little post. Marvellous. yeah, it's really nice. It's just all sort of up and downy. Just feels like proper nature. Something my leg there. Some of these bits of grass, quite pointy actually. I mean, I've got trousers on. I would prefer, how hot it is, I would have preferred to wear shorts, but I knew the kind of terrain I'd be walking across. So I think personally it's better to wear trousers, and I've got trousers on. But even so, that I just felt a bit of that grass go through my old trousers. So something to keep in mind. It's you may want to wear trousers rather than shorts. It's up to you. But I ain't even got trousers on. I've got track bottoms on. Probably not ideal. But again, I'm gonna have to go out and start buying loads of walking equipment, clothing or whatever. I can just see me coming out the shop. Trousers, shoes, hats, flasks, water bottles, possibly another backpack. I'm going to get a lot. They'll be like, oh, result. That's the kind of customer we want. Might even do it later. You never know. It's early doors now. Could get home. See, I've got the day off work today. Any of you wondering how does he do all these days? I do agency work, so, and I actually quite like it because I ain't got set days and weeks. Well, they do kind of let you know in advance most of the time when I'll be working, but not all the time. But so I weren't working Monday this week. I thought, right, let's start the videoing. I did work Tuesday, no work Wednesday, so I done another video yesterday. I was half expecting a call to go in today. Today's Thursday, 13th. I did think they was going to ask me to go in, and I'd have probably done it, even though it'd have been ridiculously hot. But they didn't ask me to do it, so I thought, well, got the day, it's going to be really hot, yeah, but why don't I go out early and do it? So here I am. So yeah, I'm off on the Thursday. It just depends, so probably won't do, I don't know. I don't think I'll end up doing another video till next week now, but you never know. But the next instalment of the videos will probably be maybe, hopefully next Monday, I don't know, depending on the weather, depending on a few things. I might have to go to work. But the good thing is, with the agency, I do get days in the week sometimes where I just ain't got no work, so I think, well, someone like me who likes his walking, don't waste the opportunity, use it. Get out there, son. Go somewhere and record it. I mean, I do go loads of places where I don't record, but lately I've been thinking, well, if I go on these nice walks, and I do like them, why not record them? That way you've got memories, but also other people might like seeing them as well, because could be somewhere where someone else has never been and they think, oh, I quite like to look at that, or they might just enjoy watching them, I don't know. But yeah, I think I'm doing these walks anyway. It's not that much hardship to film it while you're walking along. It's only I've only got a tiny little camera, so why not record them as well as walk them? Walksy talksy, that's what I say. Well, I guess if you look up in a dictionary Norfolk Coast Path, there could well be that picture. I'm not saying there is, I'm just saying that could well be, because that is what I think of. If I think of a Norfolk Coast Path, I think of dunes, I think of a path, and I think of the coast where you can see the sea. At this bit you can see all three of them, so yeah, very nice. So 84 miles then, eh? Lovely, I'm up for it. I wonder how many I've done already. I think I've done more than I thought. Because I said, that first video I thought that was about 3.5 miles. The one yesterday I thought was 4. I think it's more than that. Because I looked on the map last night and I just typed in, how far is it from Hopton-on-Sea to Scratby? And it said like something like nearly 12 miles, but I don't know if that's talking about roadways like car. If it's car, then maybe it's not as far as that walking, because walking you're going pretty much in a straight line. Cars have got to go around the houses a bit, so don't know, but I reckon up into Scratby, I reckon I might have walked nearly 10 miles. So, and that was then. Since then I've walked from Scratby, currently I'm between Winterton and Horsey, so Scratby to Hemsby, maybe that's another mile, that could be 11 miles. Hemsby to Winterton's another 1.25 miles. I reckon I've done about 13 miles so far, which ain't bad. So the time I get to Horsey, 15, 16 miles maybe, don't know. That's good. So that comes off the overall total, so that would already bring that 84 mile down to about 68 or something like that, maybe. So I'm getting into it, I'm getting my teeth into it already. But I've been able to do 3 videos in the first week, which is good. I'm very happy with that. Maybe some weeks, like I say, with work commitments or whatever else, and weather conditions, I may not even be able to do 2. So I'm glad I've got off to a decent start. But It don't mean that every week's going to be like that. But at that rate, if I could do that, just say I could do 15 mile a week. Oh, I don't know. Is that being too ambitious? But if I could do 15 miles a week, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So that would take me, well, just over 6 weeks maybe, which is good. But I'll just throw this into the equation. I have actually booked some time off, so there'll be no, well, there shouldn't be any surprise calls from the agency saying, oh, can you come in today or whatever, because I've told them I'm off, I think it's about 10 days. I told them the dates. So if the weather's good and I'm able to do it, then that period where I've got 10 days straight off, maybe I'd be able to do at least 4, hopefully 5 videos, because I don't want to do it every day. You want to give your body time to recover and that if you can. But in that 10 days off, I'd like to get at least 5 videos done, so that'd be quite a lot of miles. Absolutely marvellous. Yeah, so on that 10 days off, it's lovely. And by then, I should be round sort of Norfolk way, past, I don't know, maybe up to what, past Sheringham way, I don't know yet. See how I go. But yeah, what I was saying in the other video yesterday, which was a bit silly really, but I do say silly things. I said what I was going to have to do is drive to, say, the end point of one of my walks, walk back, and then walk back to the car, because that was the only way I could sort of think of how I'm going to do it. But that is silly doing that, really, because I'll be walking the same route twice, which, you know, it would be nice to see, but there's no need to do that. And also, I ain't going to be able to do that many miles if I'm doing that, because if I do a 4-mile walk on the video, really I would have done 8 miles, which is not ideal. So what I thought I'd do is drive to the start point of wherever I'm going to walk, park up, do the walk, then get the bus back to the car. That's the plan. So what I'd have to make sure I do is park somewhere which is like a proper village, or I couldn't just park in the middle of nowhere because I need to get the bus back to it. So I need to park at somewhere I know, or like a town, or it'll be a village probably, and walk the walk, talk the talk, no, walk the walk, then get the bus back. There's got to be buses in these villages, even if they're in tiny little ones, and I'll have to find the one that goes back to where I've parked. That's a better way of doing it, because that way, if I did want to do a long walk, like a 6-miler or something like that, I ain't got to think, oh, I've got to walk all that way before I even start it. I can just do the 6-mile walk, or 7, whatever, then hang about, get a bus, and then get back to where I started. So that makes the most sense. And that was actually not my idea, so that's probably what makes the most sense. That was my dad's idea, and he's wise, so only wise. So that would be the best thing. See, I thought, I mean, there is some advantage by doing what I said originally. Drive to the end point, walk back, and then start walking to the car, because what that means is, at least I'd know the walk, I'd know where I'm going, there would be no surprises. So there's that side to it, but the walks would have to be shorter. It just don't seem to make sense really. So I think the bus idea is better, or train. It don't have to be a bus if I can get a train. But so I could plan it where I drive to the starting point, do the walk, finish it somewhere where there's actually buses running, and then get back to where I started. Yeah, that's the plan. I just love looking at that. How can you? I don't see how you can get bored of looking at the scenery like that. Look, there's not a person on that beach. I can just see some footprints. But how chilled out is that? How just looking at that makes you feel relaxed. So if you're actually sitting down there on a deck chair or something, you could just sit there and ponder. But that's why I like walking as well. I mean, yeah, I do. On some of these walks I do just sit down for a while, sometimes on a bench or something. But I like just walking. They say it clears the mind or whatever, but I just find it relaxing. And I'm very glad that I can actually do it. I know there's some people, unfortunately, that are not able-bodied and they're not able to get out to places like that. I mean, some people in wheelchairs and stuff, there is wheelchair accessible parts where you can go, of course, but a lot of these sort of walks you wouldn't be able to do on them if you was disabled, it is a shame. It's sad to think that. So if I can do it, I like to do it, and that is another bonus of these videos. So anyone that's not able to do these walks, maybe through age or whatever else, hopefully you can get a sense or some sense of what it is, what it's like, and the lovely scenery. I mean, you can look, I guess there's loads of places that are wheelchair accessible now, which is good, but some of these things like this path here, they are difficult. So you know, we should all count our blessings really if we're able to do things like this. And for the people that can't, then, well, hopefully they can get some sort of comfort from watching videos like this, just sort of taking it in. You can see another one of the posts there, so we're on the right track, but I just want to look over this sea a minute. Just can't get enough of looking at that. It just goes for miles and miles. I think I can see one person, although that could be a sign or something. Other than that, I can't see one person. And this is August, the middle of August pretty much, and there's not one person on the beach that I can see. Possibly one. I mean, I've done this walk in the winter as well, and that may sound harsh, like in the winter, and it is. The weather can be a bit brutal, but I even enjoy that. I even enjoy walking along here in the winter time, because you could, not that I have done, but you could bring a flask with you, just sit down at certain points and just have a cup of tea, and like I say, as long as you're wrapped up warm enough, I find it don't really bother me, the cold, as long as I'm wrapped up, got a woolly hat on or whatever. And then when you're walking you keep warm anyway, but then you could just stop, have a cup of tea out your flask or coffee or whatever you want, and just take it in. It's just lovely. I love it. Right, so it did show it going down here, didn't it? Yeah. So if you wanted to, you could walk here to the beach. Go on to the beach. but the path is actually showing this way. So we're sort of back on the dunes again now. It's actually showing it down there. Well, we'll go where it says. See, look. Showing it going directly down there, so we will go down there. Again, it looks like you could possibly walk up there and be on that ridge, but it says down here, we'll go down here. I'm looking forward to a cup of tea or coffee at the end of this, and I can do that because the last place at Winterton I wasn't sure it was going to be open, and it weren't. This one I'm pretty sure it'll be open because of the time of year and because it's later than when we got to Winterton. I would have thought, I'll actually be surprised if it isn't open. Yeah, we're on the right track. Same sign as the one we saw earlier. Yeah, it's all about the seals there, look. Disturbing the seals can cause the females to desert their pups. That is why I was saying don't go near them. Especially, it's saying from the 1st of November to the 28th of February. That's when it's saying do not go near them, because that's horrible if that happens, if the female leaves the pup. So yeah, if you do come here, I'd advise, well, this advises as well, keep your distance. You can sort of stand back quite a way, which I did with my long lens camera. I filmed them from the sort of ridge, which worked out well because I weren't nowhere near them, but when I zoomed in it looked like I was near them. So yeah, you can do that, but yeah, it just says make sure you give them plenty of space, which is fair enough. I think that's right. Right, so I wanted to just read what it said on that sign back there. Morning. You alright? Just see what it says here. Between this point and Warren Farm, northwest, and Hemsbury South and Norfolk Coast Path, part of the England Coast Path, passes through nationally and internationally sensitive wildlife sites. It is noted for its unusual acid soils with many rare plants and animals, including natterjack toads, that's what I said earlier, breeding them, wintering birds, dragonflies and other insects, and large fragile areas of mosses, lichens, heather and dune grasses. To help us conserve this unique area, please follow the way marked route. Yep, that's what we've been doing. Keep dogs on paths. I ain't got a dog. Pick up litter. I ain't got no litter. I've got one bottle which I'm holding on to. Note any temporary seasonal notices in place on site. Thank you. Yes, thank you. And we shall carry on. So yeah, just little warning sign there for people that are walking. I like this heather. It looks lovely standing out against the green grass. Look, purple. Purple. So yeah, it said stick to the actual route, which is what we've been doing. And anywhere that looks sort of fenced off, obviously you wouldn't want to walk anyway. You wouldn't want to go anywhere near. Just stick to the path. few flies around here. So maybe that's why it brought us down here rather than walking on the ridge up there, I don't know. From what it says on that sign. Yeah, it just peaceful. You can just see for miles fields that way, dunes this way. I imagine if this was right on your doorstep, I mean, I just see a lady back there near that sign. She was out running, and I can imagine if you're a bit of a trail runner, you like your sort of long distances or whatever, what a lovely place this would be to walk, to run or jog, whatever. Because you could just imagine you can sort of set out your route that you want to go. What a place to run. Scenery. Chilled out. If it gets a bit boring at times on this video, because there's obviously going to be periods where I ain't got much to say, because it's just, I don't want to keep talking for the sake of talking. Something of interest, you know, or something pops in my mind. But other than that, you can just enjoy the sounds and nature, or if there's any two periods of long bits where there's no talking or nothing going on, when I edit the video I may add a bit of sort of calming music on it or something like that. Just sort of look nice walking along with the music on, maybe. Trying to think how much further it is to where we're going. So we're going to the Horsey bit where there's a car park. That's where the little tea store is and that. That's got to be at least another maybe 3/4 of a mile from here, maybe half a mile, I don't know, I can't remember. I know we're on the right path. I can't remember how far it is. Still quite a way. So peaceful. Because it's sort of got the best of both here. You can hear the sea, you can still hear the sea, the waves on the beach, but also you can hear the wildlife in these in the fields and the grass, long grass here. Have a little listen. I don't know if the old camera might pick it up as well, but I can tell you it's very peaceful. Oh yeah, I remember this bit because when I was here before, I did have my camera with me, and I see an owl. There was an owl going in, landed in one of these trees here. I was trying to get a photo of it, but I missed it. Yeah, so you do. There's a lot of wildlife around here. So if you're into your photography, I'd recommend if you're coming on this walk, maybe bring your camera, because you may get some fantastic photos. Let's have a look at the battery again, hang on. Oh, it's doing lovely. Doing like it did yesterday. Not only is it keeping it charged, it's actually increasing the charge. You can't argue with that. You cannot argue with it. What about the memory though? Yep, that's doing alright and all. It's already in about another 43 minutes again since I started filming again, so I think I was already over the hour, weren't I? So this is going to be not far off at the moment, where we are now, not far off the 2 hour mark, and I'd say we've still got about another 20 minutes to go. So yeah, similar sort of length video as yesterday, maybe a bit longer, don't know. Yep, we're still on the correct path. A few more signs here. Let's have a little look. That beach access is closed, I can see there. It's got a sign up saying closed. You may find seals on the surrounding beaches and in the dunes. Please keep well away as they can move fast and bite. Please keep dogs on the lead. Grey seals are wild animals and should not be approached. Yep, that's what we read back there. Yeah, so it's saying give them some proper distance. There's some advice. There's advice on that. You can go on that website as well if you wanted to. More warnings there. Keep off the rocks. No swimming near the. What's that say? Groiners? Never heard of that. How do you pronounce that? Groiners. Don't know. Right, so yeah, access to the beach, but as we've just discovered, there's a sign up there that says there's no access. I don't know if that's a permanent thing or a current thing, but that is as of August the 13th 2026. There's no access to the beach on this part, but yeah, there's the tell us where we've been, and the path continues this way straight along here. it's just lovely. It's just so peaceful. Proper countryside, proper rural. That's how I'd explain it. Not in any textbook, mind you, but proper countryside, proper rural. That's what I'd say. Ah, there's another little rabbit up there. Don't know if you saw him on the vid. So yeah, I like a mixture of things because I like these walks. Well, I love these walks, and I like the peace and quiet. But as I said like before, I do like to get out early when there's no crowds and all that stuff. That's true, but it sort of changes when I go to London because I kind of accept, and I know from growing up and stuff, you just expect it to be busy all the time, and that's kind of in my mindset. So even though I like my peace and quiet, when I go to London, I kind of go into old autopilot mode, and I can kind of block it out in a way. It's weird because you'd think coming from the countryside it'd be a bit of a shock to the system, and it is if you ain't been there for a long time. But when I was there, you don't bat an eyelid. I mean, there's cars bibbing all day long. There's so much noise there, and it's so hustle and bustle. But you do get used to that. It's a weird thing, but you do get used to it, and you only really notice it if you ain't been back there for a long time. But when I go back, I generally get back into the old mood and the old way of thinking within a couple of hours. Really, you kind of just you go into autopilot, and I just block it all out really, and focus on like the historic buildings and the places I'm going. The traffic and that, yeah, you hear the noise, but I kind of just I try and block it out. But yeah, that's from probably living there for years. But I imagine if you've never been to big cities really, only on odd occasions, I can imagine that being a shock to the system when you go to a place like London, because literally as soon as you get off the train it's like beep, beep, it can be a bit crazy. But so yeah, I can do walks down there as well. I like that, and I may do another visit to London soon. Actually, I ain't been for a while, and if I do go down there, I don't know whether it's best to try and finish this series of walks first though, because it'd be a bit stupid to be putting all these videos up in a row and then suddenly throw a video in from a complete strange unrelated place. So maybe I'll hopefully finish all these videos to Hunstanton first, but once that's out of the way I would like to go and do another London visit. And what I would do is hopefully do a couple of videos, one of them purely in Hyde Park. What I was saying is my favourite park. One would be purely of Hyde Park. That could be long, because if you walk around the whole thing and then go and look at the Serpentine, the lake there, that could be easily hour and a half long, maybe 2 hours for that video alone. So I could do that maybe, and then do one where I walk the streets. So maybe get a couple of videos hopefully here. What I would do though, if I did do it sooner than when I finish up in Hunstanton, if I go down there before that, I could still record it, but what I would do is probably not put it on the channel until after this series of walks is finished, because I think that would make the most sense. But I may go down there soon, because I ain't been for a while actually, and I think I'd like to go while it's still sort of summertime, or towards the end of summer. But I mean, I like it all year round down there, and I can imagine actually a nice walk in Hyde Park on a nice autumn day. That'd probably be nice because there's loads of trees there, and when them leaves are falling, that'd probably look really nice on the video. So maybe that could be an autumn time idea, possibly. Yep, we're still on the right path. Some stairs going up there, so that takes you to the beach if you wanted to. But we're staying on the path. Yeah, I'd say, let's have a quick look at the time again on here. 52 minutes nearly since I started filming again. So we're already at about the 2 hour mark of the video, aren't we? Overall. I'd say still another 15-20 minutes. Maybe more. Yeah, this is going to be longer than the last video. Oh, it's hot now. I'm glad I started when I did. So that's the thing, I say these videos are weather permitting. I mean, when I say that, usually the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, if it's raining or whatever. But it ain't necessarily just the rain, it can be the other way, it can be extreme heat. If it's too hot, that's also not good to go out in my opinion anyway. Yeah, so it's a case of doing these as and when I can type of thing. But I wonder how many videos it would be overall to get to Hunstanton then. This is number 3, which gets us to Horsey. I'd say there's got to be at least probably another 12 maybe. Don't know. Maybe about 15 videos overall in the series. Possibly, that's just a guess, but that's a rough idea. So there's a lot of walking still to be done. That much I do know. Yeah, it's really hot now. Hot ones. Surprised we ain't seen many people at all. Yeah, look. Sit up these stairs here, which is closed at the minute. It says Sea Colony viewing area on that. It says again, no access, unstable structure, so no access on that one. Surely there'll be a few people up this way, because we're getting closer to the car park now. I might be able to unplug this camera again in a minute. What is it on? 41%. Could probably unplug it actually. Oh yeah, proper scorcher today. No cloud cover at all. Hardly any wind. Really humid. Not very comfortable to walk in. Hence me starting at about, what time was it? 6:30? Or was it earlier? Well, it's about 6:15. I can hear a runner. Someone's running along. Be fit to do that. Morning, mate.
Morning.
You alright? That's something I've never really got into. It's weird. I really like walking. I've never got into running. I did try it. I found it really hard. Really hard. Perhaps it's something you get used to. The more you do it, I would have thought. But I found it really hard. And I thought, I was quite surprised because I automatically assumed because I like walking and I'm used to walking long distances. I thought I'd automatically take up running alright and get into it, but well, maybe it's just me, but I couldn't. I found it really hard, so I stick to walking. Oh, look at that bird on that thing. What bird is that? And give him some. Oh, there he goes. He's gone. I was trying to give him some distance so we could film him, but he's gone. Right, so we're still going along here. So yeah, we're still next to the sea really, just over that ridge. That's where the beach is. Another runner coming along. Rush hour now. Don't like to film people when they're running if I can avoid it. We'll look over that way. I don't think it's that much further now, from what I can remember, to the car park. And that's where I'll stop filming when we get to that car park, and obviously start filming again in the next vid. I'll have to check it on the map, but I think Horsey to see Pauling could be the next one, I don't know. What we got on the camera? Yeah, I think what I'll do is unplug that now. I'll turn that off now, hang on, I'll unplug that. That's it. That's out of there. Unplug that from there. Hang on. Put this back in here. Sorry, hope you can still see what's going on. I'm just trying to do something while still filming. Can't tell, sorry, mate. Make sure that's off. Yeah, that's off. Good, good, good. Right. So yeah, should have enough battery now. That charger's done well. That's better, walking along with it without the cable in. Getting along nicely now, we're motoring. God, it is hot. Them two runners that we've just seen, or I've just seen. Whew. I mean, I'm hot enough just walking along, but running along, that's dedication, that is. I still need a drink, nothing's changed. Not too far now. Yep, so possibly a trip to the camping shops later, or hiking shop, whatever you want to call it. Get some new stuff. Because I'm a proper walker now, you know. I don't know if you didn't know, if you noticed or not, but I'm a proper walker. So if I'm going to be a proper walker, I've got to be kitted out in the proper gear. Stands to reason, doesn't it? But I don't know, I say these shoes get wet, and they did. They did get wet, and they're still wet. But these are comfortable shoes that I've got on. So for footwear, I may stick with what I've got because I'm happy with these. They say when you find a shoe or whatever you're happy with, stick with it. Because if I was to chop and change, I just think the odds are I'm not going to be as happy with them as I am with these, and you may get things like sore feet or whatever, blisters with a new pair. I don't want that. So these shoes I've got no problem with, other than they get wet. But so I may stick with the footwear, possibly get some trousers. Want to get a new drinking bottle, possibly a big one that keeps the water cool. So, and a backpack, but the one I've got is I think too big really. So I might get a smaller backpack for literally just for water, maybe get something else small in there. But yeah, drinking bottle, some trousers, maybe look at some new hats. I might have to get a sun hat. You know, have some proper fun in the shop. Get some bits and pieces. Trying to think of where to go. We'll go and have a look at that in a minute. That's worth the climb up the hill. So I'm going to have to deviate from the path just briefly in a minute to go and have a look at that old, do they call them something boxes, aren't they? Post pillar boxes? I don't know. Whatever they're called, but I'm going to go and look at that. More runners coming along. So I'll look this way. Yeah, I've been up to that before, and you can actually go in it. So I'll go and have a quick look at that in a minute. Morning. Yeah, it's just up that slope in a minute. I'll have a quick walk round that, and I remember from here it's not that far to the car park, so don't worry if you're getting a bit bored. Well, the thing is, if you're watching this on video, you can always skip forward anyway, if you so desire. Ah, little rabbit. Little bunny rabbit. So you can walk up that bit, I think, but I'm going to walk up the other bit. Just up here. Up this way. Here we go. If you can see that properly against the sun. Have a quick look in there. Yeah, if I remember rightly, we're not that far from the car park now. Interesting. Right, so back down, we can go this way to where we was. Yeah, that was a little deviation from the path there, but that was worth it, I think, to look at that. Took my hat off for a minute, get a bit of breeze to my head. Back on the path. Not far now, not far now. More of that heather. Heather. How are we doing for card space? Oh, that's moving on a bit. Still alright, I think. Yeah, we're right close to the car park now. Have a look at me again. Oh, that was, I'm quite hot now. That was quite a walk, that one. So that was Scratby to Horsey, and I'll show you again in a second where the car park is, which is just here. But that was quite a walk. Nice walk, but very hot, because it said it's really hot today anyway, so that's why I went out early. But that's quite a long walk, that was. And I'm hoping this little tea stall is going to be open, because I'm really thirsty. Really thirsty. Morning, mate. You alright? Right, so hang on. Just show you again. This is the car park area, so have a quick look at the sign. Yeah, look. Winterton-on-Sea is free. What's going on here? Winterton-on-Sea is 3.5 miles. So we've just walked 3.5 miles from Winterton to Horsey. And then we walked before that from Scratby to there. So we walked quite far today. This is the car park, and this is where I'll start filming again. And it looks like I'm going to be disappointed because I can't see the tea stall, which is very annoying. Very annoying. Right, so there's no tea stall, but there's a little cafe not that far from here. Really old-fashioned place as well. Might have to head to that. So yeah, that was the walk from Scratby to Horsey. So that said 3.5 miles to Winterton. I think we've just done about 6 miles. Must have done something like that. I'll work it out later anyway. But anyway, that's that video. I'll stop filming here, but I'll start filming again from this exact car park in the next video. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully see you again in the next vid. See you later.